Hey, hello. I want to plead that you watch this video till the end. If you don't watch till the end, you will misunderstand what I am talking about in this video. Thank you and God bless you. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the End Time Truth Television channel. We urge you to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell icon by selecting all so that the next time we upload a new video, you will be among the first persons to be notified by Google. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then, shalom. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Depending on where you are watching me from, God bless you. I bring you greetings in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. This is a follow-up to the recent events that have been happening at the SCOAN, the Synagogue Church of All Nations. This is a comprehensive, detailed information by a certain elder, Kayode Emmanuel, who spoke to newsmen as it has to do with the current affairs in the SCOAN. And so in his words, he started by saying that human beings will always be human beings, regardless of their colors, education, beliefs, vocation, or location. To take any of the Homo sapiens for granted is for one to be grounded. What is happening in Synagogue Church of All Nations SCOAN today will be a shock to many, but for those who are accustomed to human nature can easily slip over it. The man of God himself, late senior prophet T.B. Joshua, used to say, "I don't trust you. I cannot trust you because you are a human being. It's only God I can trust. Don't trust me either. Trust God only. Let God alone be your trust. But I love you, and that love leads in all you do." He went on to say that this critical factor in human life is today the albatross presently rocking the boat of Synagogue Church of All Nations, where former personal assistant to late senior prophet T.B. Joshua, otherwise called prophets, prophetesses, and the disciples, stylishly and suddenly seized power is SCOAN and made themselves heirs of the spiritual and the estates of the world-renowned prophet against the legitimate heirs in his wife, Mrs. Evelyn T.B. Joshua, and her three biological children, Sarah, Promise, and Heart. Unilaterally, they constituted themselves into the apex council for the church and appointed within themselves a new general overseer, G.O., and Mommy G.O. Far beyond this, they also established the governing council for the church, in which all positions are shared within themselves, with no member of T.B. Joshua's family or any church member on board. Ironically, these are mere T.B. Joshua workers who are not even qualified to be called church members because, by the church's constitution, for you to be recognized as a church member, must also be a financial member. This is a critical factor for membership, which none of them has. Disenchanted church members see their action as spiritual coup d'etat or a kind of opportunistic spiritual gangsterism that is antithetical and inimical in the sanctuary. Right from the moment of T.B. Joshua's passing, they translated themselves into extraordinary, uncontrollable authority and power with enormous and reckless freedom. They became worldly to the charging of church members with flagrant disrespect and nonchalant attitude to their mentor, T.B. Joshua's family. Many concerned church members became pissed off over their selfish desires and hypocrisy. So, these so-called disciples were pretenders when Daddy was alive. One foundational church elder thinks aloud. Their lifestyles suddenly changed too. They took over all workers, sacked those they didn't trust, and brainwashed all others into total submission to their whims and caprices, to such an extent that none of them would respect any instruction or request from Mrs. Joshua in flagrant dishonor and a nonchalant attitude. It was a spectacle of the highest order. Church elders and the entire visiting members were dumbfounded. They reasoned that things should not be allowed to continue in this way for the future of the church, as church members became worried. Consequently, Mrs. Evelyn T.B. Joshua was forced to rise up to the challenges of preserving and strengthening the good legacy left behind by her husband by the unholy circumstances. Before the emergence of Lynn Joshua as leadership of the church through replacing her husband and chairman board of trustees for the church by the court ruling, she and her children had been pushed aside as ordinary church members. She was completely put in the dark of all activities. If she sent for them, they would not come. Ordinary phone call to say hello became a big burden for them to do. There was an occasion when Mrs. T.B. Joshua wanted to address about 2,000 members who were in the church just to commend them for their steadfastness. Almost 1.5 years, the church had been on lockdown, and to encourage them that very soon the church would bounce back. The so-called disciples, including prophets and prophetesses, refused and prevented her from using church camera for coverage on the ground that they were not asked for permission before they were invited. This got to the apex of endurance of observers. Times are changing. Paradoxically, the prayer mountain of the church at Agodegbe, designed only for prayers, became their residence. They completely abandoned their official quarters in the church and relocated to the mountain along with their personal attendants, where they were living large. The prayer mountain was embarrassingly and gradually becoming a place where they held parties, conducting their businesses and private affairs, a development that was never in practice when T.B. Joshua was alive. None of T.B. Joshua's family is privy to all monies collected from partners all over the world during his burial and after the burial. They took over the church strong room, carting away the money with reckless abandon. Sometime in the thick of the night, they would come with several giant Ghana must go bags to cut away currencies to the mountain, not knowing they were being cleverly recorded. They have their own personal bureau de change. Their scheme and operation were well conceived. They even went ahead to open another global network account without the church or family's knowledge. Available information shows many of them have become overnight multi-millionaires within the last few months. Their agenda is tall and total. All Prophet T.B. Joshua's phones, which contain valuable contacts and information, including global partners, were withheld by them after a lot of pressure by Mrs. Joshua and several well-meaning personalities who held several long hours of meeting with them, demanding for her husband's phones and allow sanity to reign. They eventually released the phones. By the time they released them, they had wiped off everything about them and had wiped off everything in the phones so that she wouldn't have access to anything about them and partners. But before then, they had also transferred all the information to their own private custody. They have been using the information to contact partners and securing funds without the knowledge of Mr. Joshua or any authentic members of the church, beside a few of them at the top of the discipleship. But something is more worrisome and shocking. Without the knowledge of Mrs. Joshua and the family, these people of God, now living on the prayer mountain, arranged to sell off T.B. Joshua's aircraft before the bubble bursted. All arrangements had been perfectly sealed by them before the fraud was discovered. They have their own personal bureau de change. It's not surprising that EFCC is investigating their activities over their sudden emergence as millionaires. Available information shows many of them have become overnight millionaires within the last few months. They have a tall and ambitious agenda to corner the church and its entire resources without any second thought for the legal implications and consequences. They have been using T.B. Joshua's contacts on behalf of the church to secure funds which neither any of T.B. Joshua's family nor church members were aware of not until information was coming from the back doors. The continued lockdown of the church without services was not pleasant to church members. The behavior of these disciples has also become a serious concern. All this led to the church elders under the new BOT chairperson to call for a comprehensive audit of the church, save some critical assets not yet manipulated, and to ask those on the mountain to come down and go on leave, at least in the interim, for proper management and discipline in the church. SCOAN is obviously going through a new phase of experience in its life. Members and public are watching the landing of the church of a great prophet whose positive impact had globally touched the lives of many. Courtesy Vanguard News, Nigeria. So that is it for now. That is the latest. And I must say that if this is anything to go by, then it means that there are so much rot in within the SCOAN. And get me not wrong, don't get me wrong, rather, I'm not saying that this is peculiar or particular to the SCOAN. This can also happen in any church at all. But the problem here is that seems like these guys, the disciples and the prophets and the prophetesses, like they were larger than life even while when the founder of the church was alive. And the reason why they had the effrontery to do all this, and even to the extent of appointing a GO and a mommy GO amongst themselves, not only that they stole the coffers of the church dry. Hey, I must say that there must be plenty money in that place. So, you know, do you know what is Ghana Must Go? In fact, I'm uploading it now. I want to show you what is Ghana Must Go. A very giant bag that these guys were. But that is filthy lucre. You know, I'll be seeing you in the next video. God bless you. Don't get me wrong. This is not about TB Joshua. And those of you that are angry that I'm reporting what is in the news, it is already out there so that you cannot stop it. This is just like the sunlight. Once it is done, you cannot stop the sunlight. Even if I don't report it, other persons would. And behold, it is everywhere. It is there in the news. So don't attack me. But if you chose to attack me, it is all right. It is okay. My good people, God bless all of you. I'll be seeing you in the next video from me to you. Shalom.